going on, everyone? Welcome to the stream. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone's good. Where's my chat window? All right. So today we're going to be doing some orcs. I have never really painted a lot of orcs, so I'm excited to kind of get going with these guys. Hey, Kamobo, what's going on, man? Basically, what I have in front of me today is I have a Big Mech with shock attack, which is this guy right here, and then I have a Ghazghkull as well. So I'm going to be working on those today. I'm going to start with the airbrush work mostly, and then I'm going to get into the detail work. Now, this is a commission project for one of my clients, and I've actually haven't done a test model yet. So I think my plan is to paint the paint Ghazghkull, kind of get everything base coated, and then I'm gonna basically do the Big Mech first to kind of test out schemes and colors, and then once I'm happy with that, I'll move on to Ghazghkull. But I think I'll probably just airbrush both of them at the same time. And I have an idea for the airbrushing in order to make my life a little bit easier, which is I want to spray everything kind of this dark. So I have this whole set of the Vallejo metal color. I got a set of these a little while ago. Sorry. I got a set of these a little while ago, and I never really haven't really used them for anything. So my plan is to use these for this project, and basically, yeah, kind of use that as like a test, basically. Let's see here. How does that focus look? Sorry, I'm just testing the autofocus. Let's see here. There we go. Yeah, it was a really cool model. Let's see here. So I think, yeah, so that's where I'm going to start. I'm going to basically start by base coating everything in silver. And then I think my plan is to do a base coat of transparent black from Pro Acryl, or like a dark brown color, because the client wants it very similar to the black armor body art, black armor kind of art on the book. So I think I'm going to go down all the way to silver, then back up to black, and then I'm going to kind of go from there. So what I'm going to do is I'll start with this guy first, and then I think I might actually even use some oil paints on these guys. So we'll see. Let's get a bit of double-sided tape. Let me know what you guys are working on project-wise in the chat. Interested to hear it. Let's see. Still feels, let's see, so we can get a bit more zoom in here. There we go. So, what are you working on, Kamobo, if anything? Of course, I can't get the double-sided tape at all. Come on. There we go. And today I'm going to stream probably till about 4:30. Gonna go to the gym around 5, and then I'm going to go for dinner. So hopefully you guys stick around. Get a few more people tuning in. All right, let's see. Here we go. So this Vallejo metal color, it's really intense. Like, you can kind of basically use it straight from the airbrush without any thinner. And it goes on super smooth. I do like it for that factor, how smooth it is. See? It's like super smooth. Okay, and then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna paint the, I guess the shock attack part as well. But yeah, the nice thing about this paint is you can basically use it straight out of the pot without any sort of thinning. The airbrush anyways, I think they're designed for airbrush stuff, right? So it says it's for airbrush colors, but it's like basically you can use it straight out, which I really like. All right, so that's that. So I'm gonna leave that for a sec to do its thing. I guess I might as well just give Gaz a little bit of love while he's here. I'm gonna look up the official art because I think I want to do him pretty close to the official art as far as color scheme is concerned. Let's see here. Welcome everyone that's joining us. How's everyone doing? Painting orcs today. Let's see, where is he? Gazgal. So he's very black. It's kind of which is what scheme I want to go. That's perfect. Okay. Yeah, okay. Got it. So that's why I'm doing the silver, because if you look at the black basically of the armor, it's like kind of silver black, almost metallic black. So my plan is to kind of base coat everything in this black color, and then hey Speezy, how's it going, man? I'm painting orcs, dude. You're orcs. Should be excited. So yeah, man. I spent I'm just doing Gazgal on the shock attack gun guy first, because I want to get those out of the way, and the vehicles I think will go pretty fast once these guys are done. So, all right, so I got some double-sided tape. Get that on, get that on, get this on, get the jaw on, and then get Gazgal on. So double-sided tape, super helpful. Let's see, there we go. So let this guy dry a bit, get a bit more paint. So basically my plan with these is I'm going to be starting with the metal, and then I'm going to do a very heavy black wash, and that way, and then I'm going to go back with some oils and some metallics to build up all the the black armor. But the reason I'm doing the silver first is because it's going to save me a lot of time, but also as I want to do like some chipping effects and have a bit of the silver showing underneath, having that silver underneath is going to give the black armor a bit of a metallic sheen, if that makes sense. Okay. So I'm using Leho Model Air. These orcs are actually pretty fun to build, to be honest. I haven't really built much orcs. I think I've given them a bad rap over the years. And then for the skin, I want to go, like the GW has it quite, I guess, desaturated, but I think I'm going to go a little bit heavier saturation on the green skin, because I really want it to pop against the, I really want it to pop against the black. I don't want it to look kind of fade away. If you look at the GW examples, that they almost use like, I'd say like a goblin green, old school goblin green with, kind of a bone highlight. And I think I want to go a little bit heavier on the contrast so that the skin really pops off on the black, personally. So get a little color down on the base. Yeah, well, I mean, they just got nerfed, so maybe someone will actually run things besides flyers and buggies, you know? Okay, so there's our base. Some cables. I'm doing this in sub-assemblies, mostly because I have this, like, really weird, like, hobby OCD, painting OCD, where, like, even though I know no one can see certain parts of a model, if I know that it's not painted, it really bothers me. So oftentimes, even for models that I know I'm going to be painting, like assembling, and then you're not even able to ever see those spots, I still paint those spots because I'm just like a weirdo like that. And like, it bothers me that if there's parts of the model that I know are like unpainted or like just black, because that's like inaccessible by brush, it's something that I really don't like. I like the thought. I like the thought that the model is like like if you could repose the model, it would be still fully painted, and it's not just like an optical illusion. You know what I'm saying? It kind of reminds me of people that do like those, like they like paint armies that are like good at 3 feet, but when you pick them up, plus as someone that's done paint judging before, those are the things I look for, right? Like I look for underneath the models. Like I really look underneath to make sure that the models are actually painted fully and not just like like the visible parts. I think that's what separates like a really well painted model. All right, so there's our first silver base coat. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab some transparent black from Ork, and I think I'm going to go pretty heavy on this. Because I want basically to turn all of that silver that I just sprayed basically right back into black. I can find my transparent black. Where are you? Okay, there we are. So transparent black by Ork. This is going to be like the so I did basically a full base coat of the silver. Now I'm going to do a full base coat of this, leaving no silver. So I'm not going to be, well, maybe I'll leave like, if there's like something that's really obviously silver, I'll leave it, like the claws. But for the most part, the plan is to basically fully cover all of the metal with this. And that's going to be like the armor color. And then I'm going to work up from there. Is the plan anyways. We'll see how it works out. I actually moved my camera. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I got it on like a higher perch. Also, very exciting news, which is unrelated to this commission, but I got a PlayStation 5 today. So I've been trying to get one for like a year so I can play games with, because there's a few PlayStation exclusives. I think I mentioned it on yesterday's stream that I might be getting a PlayStation 5 today if everything comes through, and it did arrive today. So yay me. I set it up. I got first game I'm going to play is Bloodborne, because that's been a game that I've been wanting to play forever, but they've never ported it to PC, which is super lame. And I know there's always rumors of PC ports, but yeah, so I'm gonna be playing Bloodborne first, and then I think once I beat Bloodborne, I think I'm gonna play Final Fantasy VII, because that's another game that I've been like wanting to play, but obviously there's no PC port in sight either. And then who knows after that? I think I'll probably play some more. I don't know. I'm like, the problem is I'm not very good with like I beat all the Dark Souls and Sekiro on mouse and keyboard. So it'll be really interesting trying to play Bloodborne with a controller, because I like literally like my controller skills are atrocious. Hey, No Entertainment, thanks for subscribing, man. Okay, so here's the black Ork black, guys. Maybe hard to see, so we can zoom in a bit. It's kind of hard to see in general just because these colors they don't show up great on the stream. Hey Shadiza, how's it going, man? Actually, you know what? I can put on my second light. I do have a second light that's like meant for heating, but I just haven't been using it lately. So let me get it here. Oh, watch out. Ah. Oh, there we go. Ooh, That's bright. Bright for me, it's bright for you. Okay, look all washed out, but at least you guys can see shit now. Okay, so there we go. I don't know if it got remastered, Matt, but I'm pretty sure it upscales, I think. Or I could be wrong. I think most of the games will upscale to 4K. Or at least to the, like, better graphics. I could be totally wrong, though. I'm gonna be talking shit out of my ass. Okay, so there's their first layer of transparent black. You guys can see. It's hard to see. These are not great colors for thanks for the sub, dude. Let's see here. Yeah, they don't show up on stream very well. But basically it's just like a really dark black right now. So I'm gonna give it a sec to dry, and then I think my transparent black I did a bit too thin. It was quite thick coming out of the airbrush, so I'm just gonna do another quick coat. This feels kind of weird because like I basically like primed it black, and now I'm like, and then I sprayed it silver, and now I'm gonna kind of like back to black. But what this is doing is it's giving, I don't know if you guys can tell, it's giving it like this like really like dark kind of metallic black look almost on all the silver. It's almost like a very, very dark, it's almost like a very, very dark silver. And my plan is basically to go in with, that's gonna kind of be the like, I guess, I don't say highlight, but that's gonna be like the, I'm gonna go in like and just kind of sporadically get it extra even blacker in some areas. And that's basically gonna be, hey, thanks for the follow, guys. Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. The goal is to kind of go to black armor, and it's going to be really matted, but still have a bit of a metallic sheen to it. And then I'm going to go in with some chipping and basically chip off the edges and just give it like the smallest amount of highlight of silver on the edges. So it'll still be kind of like a black armor, like kind of a very, almost like a metallic dark black armor. And then it'll still be, yeah, it won't be too dark either. So that's the plan anyways. See if it works out. Hydration? What about hydration? Works. Hey, Richard, how's it going, man? So I'm just going to do this model first. I'm not going to do the step on Gazgul today because I really want to use this single model as like almost like a test. Make sure I have all the techniques down, the colors down, and everything. I'm happy with everything before I overly commit on this technique. But I think I'm feeling pretty good about it, you know? Sometimes you just know. Trapping yourself 6 years in the past, away from all the bad things. What is that supposed to mean, Shukan? I don't understand. What bad things? Did you used to play used to play Warhammer and now you're checking it out? Is that what you mean by bad things? Is that by trapping yourself in the past? All right. Let's see now. Oh. There we go. Oh, that's cool. I feel you, bro. I cope with a lot of things in bad ways, if you ask many people. So definitely understand probably how you're feeling. I'm a very I guess negative person, and I definitely have some bad habits, I guess would say. So I feel you. I've kind of given up on life too. No, I haven't. I have not. Bobo. I think I played it once, maybe like way back today on our friend's PC, but I never really played it seriously. All right, so okay, so there's like my kind of black base coat done, and I know it doesn't look that exciting compared to it doesn't look much different than like if I just primed it, but trust me, there's quite a bit of there. So yeah, I hear you, dude. I trust me, I have therapy every week, and I had actually a pretty intense session this weekend with my therapist regarding my coping mechanisms. So I have, she actually gave me a bunch of homework for my next session in a few weeks to like bring to her, because basically I'm falling apart. So yeah, it's great. That's never a good sign. All right, so there's our brushing part done. So let's get into some brush work. And I gotta say, guys, I'm really happy to be painting like literally a single model. After painting like literally units and then a mutilith, which was like this massive thing, there's something really nice about like how fast painting a single model comes together. You know what I'm saying? Like you can just get it done in like literally. I used to be able to paint single models in like a day, like 8 hour session, and I can bump off something like this. I'm obviously not going to paint in 8 hours today, but there's just something really nice about it. So let's get that off the base. Get them in one of these guys. Yeah, therapy's expensive too, and sometimes I wonder if I should stop going, but you know, I feel like it does help just having someone to talk to sometimes. So all right, let's see. Let's get some paper towel. Okay, and then what we're gonna do. Okay, so what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna start by, well, I'm gonna actually look at the picture first because I want to see how this is painted. Let's see. There's Imperium. No, Xenos. Orks. This is the shock attack gun, yeah? Where are you? Can you even buy this model? Aha. Let's see here. I think what I'm gonna do actually is, before I get too deep into the like the metal and stuff, I'm gonna basically base coat the skin just so that it's out of the way, and I kind of have a better idea of like where the skin's gonna be, and that way it'll just help define the model a little bit. And I think what I'm gonna do for the skin for this whole set of orcs is I'm gonna go with my trusty Pro Acryls, but I just gotta see which one I want to use. So there's camo green, no, jade, nope, green, nope. It's gotta be a better one. Let's see, what have we got? Blue, black, no, black, green. That seems too dark. I think I'm gonna go with, I don't want to use dark and Caliban green. What do I have? How's my Chimera green? Let me try that. Yeah, I don't know. You could buy you can buy them individually. I'm looking at the model right now. All right, let's try this green. I feel like this is a good green. It's weird. I have this set of Chimera colors. They're supposed to be like super high pigment pinks, and like some of them are, but they're like very inconsistent between the different colors. So like the yellow, for instance, or the red is like super high pigment, but I find some of the colors actually don't have that high pigment. It's weird, and the consistency is really weird, like the viscosity of the different paints. So you can see my colors right there. So you can see this is the original, and then I shook it more, and this is the second one. So you can see the difference. See how much it more vibrates? It just has to do with like I think you just got to really mix them really well, these ones. All right, let's see here. But they're supposed to be really high pigment, these greens, and really high saturation, so I'm going to start them. Oh, dude, that's a hard question to answer. I assume it's 2,000 points. $2,000 point RTT. Sorry. Yeah, I don't know. I would maybe just start with whatever cult you're gonna play. I don't know what you own as far as models, but and I don't know how competitive you want to list. But Thousand Suns are kind of in a weird place right now. There's like not that many competitive builds, I guess. So I'd probably just stick to what works. Scarab cults, Volcons, Spawn, that kind of stuff. If you want a fun list, I would run, and not a good list, I would run 3 Helldrakes and like 2 Mutiliths. That'd be a fun list. But can't guarantee I'll win any games. All right. What do you normally run? Probably a better question. Or better yet, if you want, throw a list in the Discord. Yeah, it's Commission Hammer. I'm definitely not an Orc player. I can never play Orcs. I'm just not, it's not in my blood, man. I don't know, who knows? Maybe I'll enjoy painting these so much I'll decide to pick them up. Weirder things have happened, you know? Kind of hard to tell, guys, but this green is like, it actually dries quite dark. I know it looks almost quite strong on the camera when it's wet, but when it dries, it's like almost black. It's actually not very strong, I guess. Like it's strong, but it's like dark. It's like deceivingly dark when it dries. Which is okay. So usually when I'm painting a model like this, once I've done the airbrush work, I'll kind of do the inside out. That's why I'm doing the skin right now. And that'll help me kind of have a better idea of exactly where everything is. And also just prevent me from like making mistakes later, because once like the skin's done, for instance, I don't need to really go back. In those areas. And I can kind of avoid painting, like hitting them with my brush and stuff. Nids I don't like. Sisters I could. Guard I mean, if they did a really cool range, I could definitely do guard. I couldn't do any of the current guard range. Primaris Marines, I mean, I have Primaris Marines. They're actually fun to paint. One thing I don't like though is I can never do Necrons either. I don't know. Just not my, or Tau, not my aesthetic. I really like cleaner looking armies. Some armies, like the models, are just like too hard to like. Yeah, they're just not clean, I guess. Don't love the models. So I'm just going to base coat the green first. I think that's my first step here. And then I'm not going to do a wash on this green because it's quite dark already. So for me, I guess the wash part is kind of pointless. I'm going to probably go straight into just highlighting it once it's dry. I think that's all the skin. A little bit, so it's the head, the two arms, and then let me see here. Any skin I missed? Nope, nope, nope. All right, that's it. Okay, so while I wait for that to dry, I'm basically going to go in and I'm going to just kind of do a quick, I guess, highlight on the tunic, which is kind of, and the cloth, which is kind of like the next layer up. And I think for that, I'm going to go kind of like a dark, I'm going to keep it fairly simple because I don't want to have too many colors on this, and I want the red to really pop. So I think for that kind of cloth color, I'm going to go with, let's see here. What I want to go with. I don't want to go brown because that's kind of boring. I think I'm going to bring in a little bit of black blue. So I have this black blue from Proacral. It's kind of like, almost reminds me of like Shadow Gray. That makes sense? Kind of see it on my palette. What it looks like. It's kind of like a dark bluish gray, basically. All right, so paint that onto all the cloth areas. And this is like dark enough from the black that I can kind of do it right over the black. But it's not too extreme of a highlight. And then this one I will give a little bit of a wash once I'm done it. Let's see here. And I will keep the pants slightly separate color though. I don't want the pants to be same color as the tunic. So I will keep that as a separate color. Just like that. And one thing that I always find is really nice to do is like, I'm going to go in with a black wash and I'm going to use that black wash to actually blackline all of the separation between the cloth and the skin basically. So that's going to help bring some of that contrast out a bit as well. Let's see here. Okay. That's good there. Hey James, how's it going? I don't know. Hey Xavier, how's it going, man? I don't know what clan. It's basically, I think it's Goths. Whatever the Black Gazgal clan is. Is that Goths? I know very little about orcs. Especially orc clan colors. Okay, so now that my my green skin is dried, I'm going to go in with my first highlight color on the green. As I mentioned, I do want to do a little bit more of a saturated green, but I don't want to go too I don't want to go too yellow. So I'm going to stick to kind of blue greens. So in this case, I'm going to go in with some Cabalite green. That's going to be my next kind of color, I think. Is that going to work? You know what? What I'm going to do is I'm going to go really old school with my method here. And I'm going to basically do this whole thing. Do I want to do yellow? No, I want to add... I kind of want to go green, like really radioactive green. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some like bright green to my darker green. And I'm going to use that to highlight versus like adding yellow or something else. Okay, so I've got here a little bit of a brighter green. Okay, let's grab my brush. Yeah, Goths. Thanks, man. I'd say I'm happy to see you too, but I can't see you. I had a good call with David Koska, my from the host of my other show today, right before the chat stream. So it's good to hear from him. I just kind of got caught up, so might do a stream next week with him. So this will be my first highlight color, and this is going to be the majority of the skin I'm going to leave in this color. This is not going to be a subtle highlight. Like I'm not going to leave a lot of the previous color showing here because I really want to emphasize, get it more to towards the green. Whereas the color I used before, that kind of, it's such a dark green, you can tell like it's almost like a black green. That's really just going to be for my really darkest shadows. But I want the majority of the mid-tone to kind of be this kind of like darker green, I guess. This lighter green. One thing I will say though is I love painting weird colored skins. I've always enjoyed painting like green skin, blue skin, that kind of stuff. Because it was funny, when I started actually learning to paint, I learned how to highlight, like, so it was really weird when I was like learning to paint, where there was like certain colors that I was like better at highlighting than others. And one of those colors was blue. There was something about like the color blue that when I started painting, I was just able to like paint things like highlight blue like in a lot better way than I was able to highlight other colors. So what I would do is I would paint a lot of things in blue because that was like the one of the few, that was the color that I kind of like learned how to highlight with first. So I kind of had a much better like grasp on actually what I was doing. And so as a result of that, I used to have these Chaos Marauders, these like old metal Chaos Marauders for Warhammer Fantasy that all had blue skin because I didn't really know how to highlight flesh yet. And so I painted this whole, and I mean, they're Chaos Marauders. So they're allowed to be a little bit like warped and stuff, but people used to always like laugh at me because I had like these blue skinned, they used to call them blue balls because I had like blue skin Marauders. Okay, let's see here. One of the things that is fun about orcs though is like there's so much muscle, and muscle is like really fun to highlight and paint, I find, because it's almost like paint by numbers once you kind of get the idea of like where to place your highlights. Whereas like highlighting flat surfaces can sometimes be like a bit of a pain, I find, because you have to really like, you're highlighting kind of like weird areas, and sometimes you really have to think about like the direction of the light. Whereas like painting muscle is like, it's almost like paint by numbers. It kind of just like the shape of the muscle kind of tells you exactly where to place highlights. So that's one thing I do enjoy about painting muscles. And what I'll do is once I'm done this next highlight, I'm going to take a look at it and just make sure it's not too dark, because I don't do much like on the model blending, Andrew. If I really need to, I'll like basically do just really thin glazing and to blend colors. That's usually what I like to do. But I don't like to wet blend that much. I find that it's just kind of cumbersome, especially like having to like work with wet paint. I'd much rather like work with dry paint and just like really thin glazes and stuff, personally. All right, so that's that. Back putting myself in the Discord free, man, but I don't use it that much. Yeah, I don't usually use Discord either, man, but I do check it, and that's kind of the best place if you want to post lists and stuff, just because it's the better format. And I do post the stream schedule in there as well, so I'm more active there than anywhere else, basically. So this is still quite a bit of a dark green. That's okay. I think for the next, like I think I generally will want this a lot brighter, this skin. So I think for the next kind of green, I'm gonna go quite a bit higher. And hopefully it doesn't go too stark, the next highlight. But I do want to bring that up quite fast. The green, basically. All right, there we go. Oh, fuck, man. I'm sorry. So sorry for you guys to make Chaos Raptors. Those things are awful. All right, so I'm going basically, we'll zoom out a bit so you guys can see. All right, so I'm going kind of like quite a bit greener here. This is almost like a closer to the green I want for the mid-tone. All right, let's go. Just get the lips. I will go back after and kind of glaze the lips a little bit red and put a bit more color into them. But for now, just gonna keep everything the basic colors. All right, there we go. I think that's getting kind of close to where I want it. Yeah, I usually like that, Andrew, just because it's like I can do it. The one thing with two brush blending that I don't like is like you can only really work in small areas, right? And I'm much more of like an army painter, so I like to do kind of all this, especially like if I'm doing like a lot of production line painting. You can't really do two brush blending on like a large amount of models, right? You can only really kind of do it on like one spot on the model release, like at a time. Whereas with like glazing and blending, I can mass produce and do like quite a bit more at once. I can do like production line style, right? So I can make a big batch of glaze. I can make a big batch of like thinner paints, and then do that across multiple models. The problem with two brush blending is like you're kind of working in very small sections at a time, and so it's okay for like larger, like a single model, but for like army painting, it just too slow for me. And too, like, I guess, finicky, because like you're just always in a rush. This green right here is a mix of bright yellow green from Proacryl and Chimera dark green, or what's it called? Phthalo green? Yeah. So yes and a no is to answer your question. I will go though, like once I'm done this like step, like I will go and like do some glazing of darker green back into like the shadows and stuff, and actually like add some more definition that way as well. But I definitely like more of a saturated green. Like this is much more of a saturated green than like the Games Workshop, I guess, green. So I find I don't know, the Games Workshop green, it's just a little bit too, desaturated. I just remember reading lore about like how, like, I don't know if it's the, like, because obviously in Warhammer Fantasy they have black orcs, right? And I remember reading lore where basically it was like the meaner and tougher the orc is, like the darker and like blacker their skin gets, like it gets closer to like almost like dark black green. So this idea that like you had these really like mean orcs running with like super pale green skin, it just never really sat well with me. Like I always felt like the orcs should be getting darker and like more like closer to like almost like the color of like a deep jungle green to represent that they're getting stronger, versus like this kind of like pale sickly green, you know? I don't know if you guys remember that lore from Warhammer Fantasy. Pretty sure that was a piece of lore. Let's see here. But all right, so just working on this highlight. Make sure to leave a little bit of that darker mid-tone green. Now, this is why I always do a test model, guys, before I just jump into an army project, because like all of these like techniques and kind of like, not only am I kind of figuring out my scheme, but I'm also figuring out like time saving, like I guess steps, because sometimes what will happen is like maybe I'll do this highlight and I'll do like say 6 layers of highlights, and then I'll realize after I've done 6 layers that like based on the final like look, I think I can get away with like say 4 layers, right? So then when I'm doing my actual like army painting, I can like adjust that technique to be a lot simpler and a lot like less steps. So it's always important to do test models. I think it's something that like I think most people do test models, but it's something that I would highly recommend if you are doing a new army or just starting out a new project, is like figuring out like not just like the colors, but like the method as well, because oftentimes the test model will take me a lot longer to paint than say the standard models. And then once I've kind of gotten things down, I'll kind of apply those learnings to like a larger force, you know? What is my favorite Chaos God? I would say like traditionally it was Slaanesh. I kind of grew up as a big Slaanesh player. Lately it's probably more Tzeentch. So I'd say it's like a tie between those two, depending on like, kind of, yeah, just depending. All right, so now I'm going to go in and I want to go quite stark with this last highlight. but I'm going to go really thin with it as well because I want to kind of glaze in a very bright kind of green. Will I play Total War 3? I probably will at some point. It's getting released really close to Elden Ring, which I'm more interested in playing right now. So I definitely will play Total War 3 at some point, but I'm probably gonna prioritize playing Elden Ring over Total War. Because I definitely like a game like Elden Ring more than a game like Total War. Okay, so just kind of getting... Are you going to play Total War? Yeah, I like the Total War games, but like the thing with Total War is like I played so many of the Total Wars. Like I played Shogun way back when. I played like Rome, Medieval 2, Shogun 2, Warhammer the original, like, and the gameplay gets kind of repetitive, even though obviously like the visuals change quite a bit. I just find the gameplay gets quite repetitive, and I kind of find myself like not enjoying the battles. Because the battles are either like too easy if you play it on like basically anything less than like the hardest difficulty. And the battles get repetitive too, right? Because like if you're playing a large battle in Total War, right? Yeah, being like sorry, what was I gonna say? Sorry. Like eventually you start to just like auto resolve a lot of the battles because like the battles take so long, and like you're winning every battle anyways, like you're not losing those battles. So then fighting out the battles is just like an exercise in like spending time to do something you know already the outcome. Now I would be interested, I would definitely be more down for Total War. I have never played the multiplayer, but I think like a multiplayer campaign of Total War against like other people could actually be a lot of fun because it adds like a level of difficulty to the battles, but B, it also adds like a lot of like intrigue and like I guess like fun to the actual like diplomacy side as well. Whereas I find like normally the Total War games, like they're pretty easy to solve as far as like what you need to do to kind of like win those games. Like there's certain like paths you can go, and it's very kind of predictable, I guess, in the end. So I've never played multiplayer Total War, but that would definitely be something that I would be interested in I like getting into if there was like a group, if I could get like even like 4 people. And I don't know how the multiplayer works or if there's like if the multiplayer is good at all, but doing like a 4-player multiplayer campaign of Total War I think would be really fun. But like my only concern with that is it would take too long, because like I think the only way to do it would be to like basically set some time aside. Like let's say like every night your like group commits to playing like an hour, because like obviously I'd assume because it is turn-based, there's probably a way you can even play it where like not all the players need to do their like be there at once to play, right? Like if it's a turn-based game, theoretically you should be able to like log in, do your moves, log out, and then like obviously if there's any battles, resolve those battles at some point. I don't know if any of you guys have any experience with the Total War multiplayer. Yeah, well, I like to do a lot of things high too, Andrew. So I feel you, but computer games is honestly not a huge thing I like to do high, because I just find I don't have the patience, the attention span. Okay, so I've got a little bit of dark green now. I'm going to go and kind of shade in some of my mistakes here. And then at the end, I'm going to go in and do one more highlight with the bright green. So basically I'm going in with like a very thin version of the, and basically glazing it in certain areas. Just reinforce that green. Where I've maybe overpainted or underpainted. And that's going to also help brighten it up a bit as well. So I'm just kind of glazing in the green into the shadows. That's kind of bridging the divide between the very, very dark, like super dark shadows and the kind of mid-tone. Help kind of blend everything together a little bit. Like that. Okay. One versus one campaign is really fun. The other player always plays AI when in battles. I don't understand. So like, oh, okay. So see, that would be kind of annoying. I think the way I would want it is like, say there's like 6 players and like 3 are real and 3 are AI. That like the AI would play the AI battles, but then like you would still play. Oh, I kept wondering why my brush wasn't like good. That's because I was using the wrong brush. It wasn't as pointed as I usually remember, because I was using an older brush, but the same exact brush, but like my older one of it that was like not as good. This one's perfect though. So I'm going with that really bright green just on the very tips. Like I would like it where it's like, say there's like 3 AI opponents, 3 human opponents. And obviously if you fight the AI, like the AI just plays, but then like there's 3 human opponents on the map too. I think the more people that you could get to play would be better. Like if you could do like an 8-player game, that would be like super fun. Just like a lot of intrigue. And just like, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of like, I don't know if you guys ever played Risk like growing up, but just like those kind of games where there's like lots of players and there's like lots of like, there's lots of like diplomacy and stuff like that. And you could basically do like offline alliances and stuff. Like you could make alliances with like I could like text my buddy to make an alliance. I don't have to like send a diplomat, you know. I could do like a lot of like real life shenanigans. I think that would be really fun. Yeah, that's what I mean, Shidizo. Like, and I'm not sure how the game actually works in multiplayer. Like, if it is like that, where like once one person plays, it waits for everyone else to play, or if it is a situation where like you guys both have to be like basically logged in and connected to like load the game. You know what I'm saying? Because it'd be really hard to obviously have like 8 people all playing at once. Does that make sense? Okay. All right, let's see here. Orcs are fun to paint, I realized. So I'm not sure how the multiplayer works, but that's kind of how I would like to play it. Now, I'm not sure if that's actually how it works, but so let me know if you guys have experienced the multiplayer Total War. Oh, you gotta all be together. So can you do like multiple people though, like more than one player, or is it just like one-on-one multiplayer? Because I know they had like Total War tournaments at one point, but I wasn't sure if it was like three or four people in a game, or if it's like one person, you know? I mean, it'd still be fun to play with one person, but I feel like definitely having like a 6-person game of like Total War, I think would be like super fun, where like everyone is like backstabbing each other and like breaking alliances and like secret attacks and like spies and assassinations and like I don't know, all the like real life. I don't know if you guys ever played, like it's like it would be playing like a game of like Settlers of Catan or like Risk, where like you have alliances with people and you break them, and like there's a lot of like there's like a meta game of like the real life meta game of like all the different like shenanigans, you know. I feel like that's like a fun part for me. All right, here we go. Sure, man, you can tell me anything you want. Melamine plate? What's a melamine plate? I think I want to go a little bit lighter on the face. I'll just grab a little bit of black. What's a melamine plate? I don't know what that is. Yeah, I know it'd be hard to organize, Andrew, but like that's like I think that's the point, I guess. Sorry guys, sometimes I forget that I'm painting on stream. My model comes off stream. I have like really bad painting habits. Like I feel like I hold my model in like really weird like poses sometimes. Let's see here. I don't know what a melamine plate is. Okay, but like, why is that a thing? Like, why are you using that? What's so special about that, I guess? That, like, it's significant, I guess. I think I'm just gonna add some white to it. Like, are you just saying because it's like budget? Is that like the thing? You're pointing out how budget it is? Oh, this is commission work. Sorry guys, I'm just trying to do like literally the final highlight on his face, which is like the very thinnest, like highest highlight. So sometimes when I'm doing like really careful highlights, I gotta hold my breath so my hand is steady, or just really focus. So that's why I'm not talking right now, because if I talk, I will fuck it up. It's okay, man. I used to paint out of my windowsill. So I used to have like I had like a little windowsill, probably like 12 feet of space. 12 feet, 12 inches of space. That was like 12 inches by 2 feet, like a 12 inch by 2 foot like window sill. And I didn't have a desk, so I just literally bring my chair, pull right up to that, and I'd put my stuff there, and I would literally paint like crouched on my knees. So I know, I feel you when it comes to like super sketchy, like bad paint setups, man. I've been there. All right, there we go. All right, so I'll just give you guys a little bit of a zoom peek on the orc so far. So I went a little bit higher on the face, but basically that's going to be the skin. So I just wanted to have a little bit more pop from a distance. Yeah, there's the green. So what I did is I wanted to go a little bit more of a heavy saturated green versus the GW like it's kind of like almost like a goblin green, and I wanted a lot more contrast. So that's why I've gone so dark with the shadows, but I've gone quite bright with the like the final highlight there. So it's quite like distinct. If that makes sense. And then what I will do is I will give the lip, the bottom lip, which is tradition, a little bit of a glaze. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take a little bit of my kind of mid-tone brighter green. Paint that bottom lip. And you'll notice that like a little bit of that green is getting, because it's so thin here, it's getting in between the teeth and the bottom lip. That's okay. I can fix that. So just draw off my brush, grab it, and just kind of go back in there. And what I will do is when I go back with my black, I will take a little bit of black, just kind of paint it in there. Transparent black with my palette. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is get a little bit of red. So normally I'd use a pink, so I'm going to go with magenta. Let's go with Proacryl magenta. Yeah, so I'm going to pick a little bit of magenta. Oh, like a standing table? Yeah. I have one of those at work, and I don't care for it. Plus, like, I have my whole PC set up here, right? Like, I can't really, like... And I have shelves, too. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bit of pink. A little bit of water. A little bit of white. More pink. And I'm just going to glaze in a little bit of pink. That bottom lip. Not too heavy because I still want a bit of that green coming through, but just to give it a bit of life. A little more. There we go. And then I'm going to go a little bit on the nose, just like the littlest touch. And then just like the littlest touch on the top lip. Just like that. Give it a bit of, just give him a bit of warmth. All right, so there is our orc skin of our Shock Tech gun guy, dude. Maybe I'll go just a touch. So I'm not going to actually go brighter from a color perspective. I am going to just do another quick little, like if you look at the skin, I'm just going to do another little quick of the same green that I used to highlight. So I'm not actually doing a brighter tone, but what I'm doing, I'm just putting a bit more on. So the transparency is a little bit like, so it's a little bit like brighter, I guess. The biggest thing with highlights is like when you, wherever you remove your brush, like lift your brush, that's where the most paint is going to kind of stay. So like if I want the highlight to be here, I like lift my brush here. I don't like paint it downwards. I want to paint towards the brightest spot and then like lift my brush at that bright spot. And that's going to kind of deposit a lot of the paint at that spot that I lift the brush, wherever I kind of stop. If that makes sense. There we go. Just a little bit more. A little more green. There we go. And then what I will do probably is just give them a little bit more on the fingers here. And then like a little bit here. Just touch there. There we go. All right. So nice and dark transition, but nice and bright kind of finish, especially on the face where I kind of went a little bit harsher. I think I'm happy with that overall. It's a nice little. So this is why I like painting orc skin, right? Because it's like that's so muscular and it's so defined that it's like actually like it's actually like really easy to paint. Like once you kind of get a hang, like once you know where to place the highlights, it feels like it's paint by numbers, right? All right, so that's our first orc skin test model. So I'm happy with the kind of that method. If you guys are just wondering what my palette looks like, it's just a big mess right now. But basically, the various colors. So I used to have a palette cam. I don't know if that's something you guys are interested in. I used to have a palette cam just for my wet palette, but I kind of got rid of it because it felt like people couldn't really see what I was doing anyways. But so all right, there we go. All right, so now I'm gonna do basically just one last step before I log off here. I'm gonna do a quick just wash of the transparent black on the cloth that I painted earlier. And what I'm gonna do here is it's gonna be kind of a two-purpose process. So the first purpose is to darken the black and kind of give it that shade. But second is to add some black lining in between all the cloth. So I've got a fairly thin wash here of transparent black, and so what I'm going to do here is like, so to kind of give you an example, I don't know if you guys can see here, I'm just taking it here and I'm running it. Now that the skin's done, I'm going to kind of run this like that. So that's going to darken this kind of cloth gray that I'd painted earlier. But also, as I run it, like say in between here, that's going to also help define the skin a little bit better, because everywhere, a lot of times I find like on plastic models, so here's a good example. Sometimes you get different textures that like run into each other. They're not super well defined. So by kind of doing like a bit of a pin wash, almost like a black, a very kind of, it's almost like a glaze. And I'm going to paint into this like separation here. So you can see there's like this line here in between. That's going to help kind of define further the different areas. And it almost gives the models like a comic book feel, because it almost feels like everything has like is like traced. It's kind of almost like cell shaded, versus if you just leave the like basic colors, you don't get as much contrast. And so I really like to always blackline in between my various colors to have that really, really thin, dark, mostly usually black color. And that's going to help kind of define the different areas, and just help like different, I don't know, different things pop basically. So even here, just kind of blacklining in there, blacklining like here in between these panels where the wrist is, in between the fingers, just like that. All right, let's see what's going on here. Cool. All right, guys, that's gonna be it for today, because I'm gonna go get ready to go to the gym. So I'll be back on next week. I'll post a schedule. I'll probably be done this orc by then. So next week I'll probably be working on Gazgal. I might even be done Gazgal by then, depending on how much painting I get done over the weekend. So hopefully this will be done, and you guys will get to kind of see the direction this is all going, and this will give me a good base for the rest of the project. All right, that's it. Thanks, guys. Tuning in. See you guys later.